Hi everyone, I'm back again with another Synastry chart, this time between Bryan Kohberger and Ethan Chapin. Now, if you need a Synastry chart done between you and a significant other, my email is in the description box. So I'm going to get started. I found a lot of interesting details in this compatibility chart between the two of them, and it really tells a story of how the energies between the two of them, how it came to fruition in this chart. Now, Bryan's Atropos conjuncts Ethan's moon 2 degrees. And Atropos in Greek mythology has to do with, it's a death marker, and it has to do with, Atropos was actually held the scissors and determined the lifespan of a person by cutting the cord that separated them from the earthly realm and then moving forward into the afterlife. So this is very significant, and since it's conjuncting Ethan's moon, the moon is a very important luminary in a compatibility chart. Whatever conjuncts your moon from the other person, you will receive those energies. So that's the energies that Bryan brought to Ethan. Death. And like I said, since Atropos held the scissors, it coincides with the knife and the stabbings. Bryan's Mars conjuncts Ethan's DNA 2 degrees. And Mars is a war planet, and it also signifies weapons. And since it's conjuncting Ethan's DNA, this is significant as well, because if they had found the knife, this would indicate that Ethan's DNA would be found on the weapon. Bryan's DNA conjuncts Ethan's Atropos 1 degree. Again, more backup of the energies that are significant with the asteroids in this compatibility chart. Bryan's DNA is conjuncting, like I said, Ethan's Atropos. So again, DNA on the knife and DNA involved in the stabbings and the murder in this chart. Bryan's Agamemnon conjuncts Ethan's point of fortune 2 degrees. And the point of fortune, like I've said before, it looks like a circle with a cross in the middle, and it's like a mini Jupiter. So it magnifies whatever it touches. And in this case, since it's conjuncting Bryan's Agamemnon, that has to do with murder and sacrifice and the demise of another person through the murder and betrayal. Bryan's Lachesis, that's a death marker. It conjuncts Ethan's midheaven and the asteroid Nessus by 1 degree. So here again, Lachesis is, again, like I said, it's a death marker. And since it's conjuncting Ethan's midheaven, usually this means that the murder could be seen in the public because it opposes the IC, which is at the bottom of the chart, and that signifies behind the scenes. However, you're going to be seeing it eventually came out in the open. The whole world knows about this case, and it's going to court. So again, the murder, the death is all going to be seen by the public, and there was abuse involved in this, obviously, because that's the energies that Nessus represents. Now, Bryan's finale conjuncts Ethan's Ixion in the 8th house, 0 degrees. That's the tightest orb, and you can't get tighter than that. Finale is self-explanatory, endings and finalizations, and it's conjuncting Ethan's Ixion. And Ixion is an asteroid that has to do with murder, and it's in Ethan's 8th house, and the 8th house represents death. Bryan's Rufus and Philomela conjuncts Ethan's descendant 1 degree. Whatever conjuncts your important angles on your birth chart from another person, you will receive those energies. And in this case, Rufus has to do with drugs. So this indicates to me that there's possibility of drugs involved because of the murder and the stabbings. Also, Philomela conjuncts Ethan's descendant as well. And Philomela has to do with torture and just a hell-like existence. So that's what he brought into Ethan's life while they knew each other. And it coincides with the rest of the energies with these asteroids in their synastry chart. You have to really look at the big picture and not just a couple of conjunctions or squares, because it tells a story. Now, Ethan's Pholus and Stevia conjuncts Bryan's North Node, Mercury, and Swindle, all within 3 degrees. This is also very telling because Pholus has to do with, it's like an explosion, and Stevia has to do with stabbings and knives. And since it's conjuncting Bryan's North Node, that was the theme of the relationship for Bryan with Ethan. Whatever touches your North Node from the other person, those energies will signify what the ultimate theme of the relationship will end up being. And people have asked me, how long does it take for that to come to fruition? And I always say sometimes it can take, a couple of months, and other times it can take a couple of years, but the chart always plays out. So in this case, we have an explosion of death, stabbings, and conjuncts Bryan's North Node. That was the theme. And also it's conjuncting Bryan's Mercury and Swindle. So Swindle has to do with, it's self-explanatory, but it has to do with lying. And in this case, lying and falsifying who you are by talking, because Mercury is a talking and thinking planet. So he lied in communication to them and pretended to be somebody that he wasn't through his the way he spoke to them. He had ulterior motives, but all this energy is signified right in this chart. Bryan's Simpson conjuncts Ethan's Vertex and Mars, 2 degrees. Wow. The vertex is another very important point in a compatibility chart. Whatever touches your vertex from the other person, they will bring you those energies. And it better be good, because you will feel it strongly. And as well as the moon and the sun, because the moon and the sun really are the most important luminaries in the chart, as well as the angles. But let's get back to the vertex. So Bryan Simpson, that has to do with, it's like O.J. Simpson, stabbings, and eventually he'll get caught. So it's conjuncting Ethan's Vertex and Mars. And Mars, like I said, is a war planet, and it signifies weapons as well. Now, in Bryan's natal chart, his sun and his Pluto is conjuncting Ixion, the murder asteroid, as well as Iphigenia and Aletko. This is very telling in his natal chart because of Ixion. Iphigenia has to do with betrayal and sacrifice, and Aletko has to do with the desire to punish. So it's conjuncting his sun, that signifies him, and also Pluto. And Pluto is a death, can signify a death and transformation, and it's a very powerful planet when it's conjuncting these particular asteroids. And his Swindle also conjuncts his Mercury in his natal chart, and I've already explained to you he's a swindler. When Mercury is conjuncting Swindle, it means that you are very good at deception through the way you talk, your communication towards other people. And so that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this interpretation, and I will see you again next time. Have a nice day.